Welcome, everyone. It is good to see you all. It sure is good to see you all. I trust that everybody enjoyed themselves for Turkey Day, as Moon calls it. um, and I trust that those on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch can hear me, as well as, yeah, that's all I wanted to know. But I trust that everybody had a beautiful day and you relaxed. But let me ask this question. Do y'all have to go to work tomorrow? Because that seems kind of like shady. Get Thanksgiving in the middle of the week and then you got to go to work on Friday. I don't know about that one, but I'm sure it'll work itself out. Anyhow, tonight we are continuing at Freedom for All, and we are on chapter 4. The secret of feeling. The secret of feeling, or the calling of the invisible into visible states, is beautifully told in the story of Isaac blessing his second son Jacob by the belief based solely upon feeling that he was blessing his first son Esau. Genesis 27, verse 1 through to 35. But listen to what the secret of feeling is. Let me highlight it because you know how we roll. Highlight. The secret of feeling, or the calling of the invisible into visible. So when you feel it, you are calling it from the invisible to the visible. Oh, remember, when you feel it, the reality of it, you are calling the invisible into the visible. I couldn't have said it better. Anywho, he says it is recorded that Isaac, who was old and blind, felt that he was about to leave this world, and wishing to bless his first son Esau before he died, sent Esau hunting for savory venison with the promise that upon his return from the hunt, he would receive his father's blessing. Now, Jacob, who desired the birthright or right to be born through the blessing of his father, overheard his blind father's request for venison and his promise to Esau. So, as Esau went hunting for the venison, Jacob killed and dressed the kid of his father's flock. Placing the skins upon his smooth body to give him the feel of his hairy and rough brother Esau, he brought the tastily prepared kid to his blind father Isaac. And Isaac, who depended solely upon his sense of feel, mistook his second son Jacob for his first son Esau and pronounced his blessing on Jacob. Esau, on his return from the hunt, learned that his smooth skinned brother Jacob had supplanted him, so he appealed to his father for justice. But Isaac answered and said, "Thy brother came with subtlety and hath taken away thy blessing. I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants." Now, simple human decency should tell man that this story cannot be taken literally. Wait a minute. Uh, they're saying, one moment. So let's read this again, and maybe they'll tell me if they hear me or not. Simple human decency should tell man that this story cannot be taken literally. There must be a message for man hidden somewhere in this treacherous and despicable act of Jacob. Now, did you hear what that is? Simple human decency should tell man that this story cannot be taken literally. There must be a message for man hidden somewhere in this treacherous and despicable act of Jacob. The hidden message, the formula of success buried in this story, was intuitively revealed to the writer in this manner. Isaac, the blind father, is your consciousness, your awareness of being. Hmm? Isaac, the blind father, is your consciousness, your awareness of being. Esau, the hairy son, is your present objectified world, the rough or sensibly felt, the present moment, the present environment, your present conception of yourself. In short, the world you know by reason of your objective senses. Jacob, the smooth skinned lad, the second son, is your desire or subjective state, an idea not yet embodied, a subjective state which is perceived and sensed, but not objectively known or seen, a point in time and space removed from the present. In short, Jacob is your defined objective. The smooth skinned Jacob or subjective state seeking embodiment or the right of birth, when properly felt or blessed by his father, or when consciously felt and fixed as real, becomes objectified. And in so doing, he supplants the rough, hairy Esau or the former objectified state. Two things cannot occupy a given place at one and the same time. And so, as the invisible is made visible, the former visible state vanishes. Your consciousness is the cause of your world. The conscious state in which you abide determines the kind of world in which you live. Your present concept of yourself is now objectified as your environment. And this state is symbolized as Esau, the hairy or sensibly felt, the firstborn son. That which you would like to be or possess is symbolized as your second son, Jacob, the smooth skinned lad who is not yet seen, but is subjectively sensed and felt, and will, if properly touched, supplant his brother Esau or your present world. Heidi, say hey to Hunter. I got that right, did I? Listen, always bear in mind the fact that Isaac, the father of these two sons or states, is blind. He does not see his smooth skinned son Jacob, he only feels him. And through the sense of feeling, he actually believes Jacob, the subjective, to be Esau, the real, the objectified. You do not see your desire objectively, you simply sense it, feel it objectively. You do not grope in space after a desirable state. Like Isaac, you sit still and send your first son hunting by removing your attention from your objective world. Then, in the absence of your first son Esau, you invite the desirable state, your second son Jacob. You invite him to come close so that you may feel it. He says, "Come close, my son, that I may feel you." Genesis 27, verse 21. First, you are aware of it in your immediate environment. Then you draw it closer and closer and closer until you sense it and feel it in your immediate presence so that it is real and natural to you. If two of you shall agree on earth as touching on any point that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. Matthew 18, verse 19. The two agree through the sense of feel. The agreement is established on earth, it is objectified, it is made real. The two agreeing are Isaac and Jacob, you and that which you desire. And the agreement is made solely on the sense of feeling. Esau symbolizes your present objectified world, whether it be pleasant or otherwise. Jacob symbolizes any and every desire of your heart. Isaac symbolizes your true self, with your eyes closed to the present world, in the act of sensing and feeling yourself to be or to possess that which you desire to be or to possess. The secret of Isaac, the sensing feeling state, is simply the act of mentally separating the sensibly felt, which is your present state, from the insensibly felt, or that which you would like to be. With the objective senses tightly shut, Isaac made, and you can make the insensibly felt, the subjective state, if you can make that seem real or sensibly known, for faith is knowledge. Let's read it again. With the objective senses tightly shut, Isaac made. Remember, he was blind, so his senses were closed, except for feeling. It says if you can make the insensibly felt, which is the subjective state, if you can make that seem real or sensibly known, for faith is knowledge. Knowing the law of self expression, the law by which the invisible is made visible, is not enough. Knowing the law of self expression, the law by which the invisible is made visible, is not enough. It must be applied. And this is the method of application. First, while you're listening to it, do it. You'll have space to do it. You're hearing it, begin to test it. He says, first, step one, send your first son Esau, or send your present objectified world or problem hunting. Now, this is accomplished simply by closing your eyes and taking your attention away from your objectified limitations. As your senses are removed from your objective world, it vanishes from your consciousness or it goes hunting. So, step one, close your eyes and remove your attention from your limitations or your problem. Remove your attention from your problem. But now here's where you put your attention. With your eyes still closed and your attention removed from the world round about you, consciously fix the natural time and place for the realization of your desire. With your objective senses closed to your present environment, you can sense and feel the reality of any point in time or space, for both are psychological and can be created at will. It is vitally important that the natural time space condition of Jacob, that is, the natural time and place for the realization of your desire, be first fixed in your consciousness. If Sunday is the day on which the thing desired is to be realized, then Sunday must be fixed in consciousness now. Pardon me. Simply begin to feel that it is Sunday until the quietness and naturalness of Sunday is consciously established. You have definite associations with the days of the week, months, and seasons of the year. You have said time and again, oh, well, today feels like Sunday or Monday or Saturday, or this feels like spring, or this feels like summer, or this feels like winter. Well, that should convince you that you have definite conscious impressions that you associate with the days, weeks, and seasons of the year. I bet you some of you said today felt like Friday. It felt like Friday, hmm? But it was Thursday. That's what he's talking about. He says, then because of these associations, you can select any desirable time. And by recalling the conscious impression associated with such time, you can make a subjective reality of that time now. You do the same with space. If the room in which you are seated is not the room in which the thing desired would be naturally placed or realized, feel yourself seated in the room or place where it would be natural. Consciously fix this time space impression before you start the act of sensing and feeling the nearness, the reality, and the possession of the thing desired. It matters not whether the place desired be 10,000 miles away or only next door. You must fix in consciousness the fact that right where you are seated is the desired place. You do not make a mental journey, you collapse space. Sit quietly where you are and make there-ness here-ness. So instead of it being yonder, make it here. Hither and yon, I suppose. Make there here. So you close your eyes and feel that the very place where you are, is the place desired. Feel and sense the reality of it until you are consciously impressed with this fact. For your knowledge of this fact is based solely on your subjective sensing. Third, in the absence of the problem or Esau, and with the natural time space established, you invite Jacob or the solution to come and fill this space, to come and supplant his brother. Mm. In your imagination, see the thing desired. If you cannot visualize it, sense the general outline of it. Contemplate it. Then mentally draw it close to you. How? Come close, my son, that I may feel you. Feel the nearness of it. Feel it to be in your immediate presence. Feel the reality and solidity of it. Feel it and see it naturally placed in the room in which you are seated. Feel the thrill. Feel the thrill of actual accomplishment and the joy of possession. Now, open your eyes. This brings you back to the objective world, the rough or sensibly felt world. Your hairy son Esau has returned from the hunt, and by his very presence tells you that you have been betrayed by your smooth skinned son Jacob, the subjective, psychologically felt. But like Isaac, whose confidence was based upon the knowledge of this changeless law, Well, you too will say, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants. That is, even though your problems appear fixed and real, you have the subjective psychological state to be real to the point. You have felt the subjective psychological state to be real to the point of receiving the thrill of that reality. You have experienced the secret of creation, for you have felt the reality of the subjective. You have fixed a definite psychological state, which, in spite of all opposition or precedent, will objectify itself, thereby fulfilling the name of Jacob, the supplanter. Here are a few practical examples of this drama. Every night at the same time, I get the yawns. Here are a few practical examples of this drama. First, the blessing or making a thing real. Sit in your living room and name a piece of furniture, a rug or a lamp, that you would like to have in this particular room. Look at that area of the room where you would place it if you had it. Look at that area of the room where you would place that piece of furniture if you had it. Close your eyes and let all that now occupies that area of the room vanish. In your imagination, see this area as empty space. There is absolutely nothing there. Now begin to fill this space with the desired piece of furniture. Sense and feel that you have it, this very area. You have it there. Imagine you are seeing that which you desire to see. Continue in this consciousness until you feel the thrill of possession. Second, the blessing or the making of a place real. You are now seated in your apartment in New York City, contemplating the joy that would be yours if you were on an ocean liner, say, sailing across the great Atlantic. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. John 14, verse 2 to 3. Your eyes are closed. You have consciously released the New York apartment, and in its place, you sense and feel that you are on an ocean liner. You are seated in a deck chair, and there's nothing around you but the vast Atlantic. Fix the reality of this ship and ocean so that in this state, you can mentally recall the day when you were seated in your New York apartment dreaming of this day at sea. Recall the mental picture of yourself seated there in New York, dreaming. Pardon me. Recall the mental picture of yourself seated there in New York, dreaming of this day. In your imagination, see the memory picture of yourself back there in your New York apartment. If you succeed in looking back on your New York apartment without consciously returning there, well, then you have successfully prepared the reality of your voyage. Bon voyage. Remain in this conscious state, feeling the reality of the ship and the ocean. Feel the joy of this accomplishment, and then open your eyes. You have gone and prepared the place. You have fixed a definite psychological state, and where you are in consciousness, there you shall be in body also. Third, the blessing or making real of a point in time. You consciously let go of this day, month, or year, as the case may be, and you imagine that it is now that day or month or year which you desire to experience. You sense and feel the reality of the desired time by impressing upon yourself the fact that it is now accomplished. As you sense the naturalness of this time, you begin to feel the thrill of having fully realized that which before you started this psychological journey in time you desired to experience at this time. With the knowledge of your power to bless, you can open the doors of any prison, the prison of illness or poverty or of a humdrum existence. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound. Isaiah 61, verse 1, and Luke chapter 4, verse 18. And that is the end of chapter 4. That is the end of chapter 4. Now let us recap, because we highlighted some things, right? We highlighted some things. This part I really like, because I know I've been at work and thought it was like a Wednesday, and it was simply, I thought it was Wednesday, but it was really Thursday. The whole day I just felt like it was Wednesday. Things were just so, hump day. It was just, if I could just get over this part of the week. That's what it felt like. And so when Neville says, you already know what that feels like. You know what it feels like to go for a Sunday drive. You know what traffic feels like. There's just something in the air that tells you this day, it's like Monday. Nobody likes Monday. And we all have this feeling of Monday. That even on Sunday, we have the feeling of Monday. We feel the dread of Monday. It's what we do. So he's saying to you, you can collapse time and space by simply allowing yourself to feel the day you want to feel and set that day as the thing that was accomplished. If it would have been accomplished on a Sunday, well, then begin to feel Sunday. If it was going to be accomplished on a Monday, begin to feel Mondays and go, ugh, it's Monday again. Right? So that part that he shared in there about feeling the days of the week, use that to your advantage, he says. He says to capture the feeling of that day and have that day be, oh, look, it is done. So that's what I really liked about that one. So here's the process as we go into the silence for 5 minutes. Do you have a mental picture of what it is you want? Take your time. Do you have a mental picture of what it is you want to experience? Good. You have it? Good. Now, now that you have that, keep your focus and your attention on it, which means naturally you will have to turn away from your problem. Turn away from the problem and fix your attention squarely and solely upon that desire. That's what you do, right? And then he says the third thing you do, when you no longer sense your problem, invite the solution. Now begin to get a sense of the solution. Because remember, he says two things cannot occupy the same space. You want to make a change, yet you're doing the same thing over and over. Only one of those things can fill that space. Only one. So the one that's going to be in that space is the desire that you want. Now, remember, he says you don't have to go groping in the dark. I tell you, Neverland, his words must have been tongue in cheek a lot. But he says you don't have to go groping in the dark. Let's see if I search it, I'll find that word because I want to read the sentence. You do not grope in space after a desirable state. Like Isaac, you sit still and send Esau hunting, which means sit still and remove your attention from your problem, your objective world. And then, as you do that, invite the desirable state. So, as we go into 5 minutes of silence, have the mental picture and keep your attention upon it because naturally you won't look to the problem anymore. You're looking at the solution. And let the feeling, because the feeling happens naturally. The feeling happens naturally. Pay attention and you'll see it. Hmm. So let us go into the silence. Have a clear mental picture, and that's where you focus on and feel it. Just feel it. Let us go into the silence. 5 minutes. And there concludes your 5 minutes. So remember to practice. Just know what it is that you want. Have a mental picture. That mental picture flows into a natural feeling all on its own. And you feel it with conviction, just like Isaac. He said, "Ah, I see you, Esau." Because he was blind, get it? But he felt him. He felt him. "I see you." He felt it. And he didn't say, maybe, but he did. He's like, oh, because it shows you what we're like. When he says in that story, well, you sound like Jacob, but you feel. And he went with his feeling because Esau was hairy, right? So he felt and he believed in the conviction of what he felt. So you and I, as we are feeling, we also have to feel with the conviction that what we say is true. You remember, you're not believing in the thing, you know. It's never about the thing. It's always about that principle, that precept, that law that says, whatsoever you ask for in prayer, what does it say? It says, if you believe. It says, whatsoever you ask for in prayer, if you believe, it is done for you. So, what does it ask you to do? Believe that things are done for you. Anyhow, don't let me preach because we know it's late at night and some of us are still kind of full from the turkey and we still are hanging out with our loved ones. But tonight before we go to bed, you know, I always play a little bit of the chime. Chime and chicken, but he won't be singing right now. Oh no, he better not be singing right now. But let's hear the chime. And as you hear the chime this evening, begin to form that mental picture and know, because he says knowledge, right? He says know that when you form that mental picture, it is recreated, the invisible. Look, I got to go back to it because, you know, it was the very beginning. The secret of feeling or the calling of the invisible into visible. You're calling the invisible to become visible. That's what we're doing. The invisible, we're calling it from out of the darkness into the light so we can see it. So you need to believe that that's what you're doing. When you hold your mental image, you are calling. There's that old hymn, softly and tenderly, Jesus is calling, calling for you and for me. While on the portal, he's waiting and watching. He's calling, oh sinner, come home, come home. He's calling you. You are calling your desire into existence. It is invisible. So you're calling it into existence. Do you believe that when you call it, it comes? Then that's what you need to believe in. And that feeling of conviction is what gets you. But anyway, I hope that made sense. Time for the chime, my darlings. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you, my beautiful friends. Thank you for falling asleep with us. I yawned all night. But thank you for being here and spending this time with us. And I trust that things made a little bit more sense for this chapter. And you know we will continue at chapter 5. I forget what chapter 5 is called, but we'll know that tomorrow night. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and Fanbase. I love you all. Yes, Heidi. Oh, it was so good to see you. And Bonnie, I gotta say it, Bonnie Blanco. Bonnie Blanco. And then Jacqueline was here. David, hello. And Mike was here, as well as, oh, I gotta do it, Sherry. Sherry. KZ, my dearest. Moon and Dolphin Duck, and that deal. It was good to see all of you. Rest well, my beautiful friends, and remember, take our thankfulness into our bedchamber. Take your gratitude into your bedchamber and fall asleep in that state of gratitude. Hello, uh, Zeroin? Welcome to the space, darling, but we just finished. So, anyhow, my beautiful friends, rest well tonight, and you know I'll see you at the crack of dawn tomorrow for morning inspiration right here, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know what we're talking about tomorrow morning yet, but Spirit always knows. So, we are in good company, are we not? Anywho, I love you, and I shall see you tonight. Oh, zero in, huh? Zero in, hey. Hey, girl. I like that. That was quite creative. Anywho, I love you and I'll see you. Little bit and I say good night.